The special gazette notice issued by the President under the Public Security Ordinance tabled in Parliament. Attention drawn towards proper waste management in the country. SM Marikkar responds to statements that are made against him. Court halts the dumping of Colombo garbage at Kardiana. Minister Hakim is using the Parliament to create momentum for himself. A statement by Minister Faisal Mustafa. Newsfirst Director General Manager Yasurat Kamal Siri wins Executive of the Year Award of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited.
It is the 28th of April 2017. This is Primetime News. Well, we are coming to you live and direct from the News Studios here in Colombo this evening. I'm Joel Outschool, and joining with me tonight is my co-anchor Azra Hassan. Good evening. Good evening, Joel, and a very good evening to all our viewers. Let's now take a look at the stories in detail. On to our top story now, the extraordinary gazette notification presented by President to make services related to garbage disposal an essential service was tabled in Parliament today. The gazette notification was tabled in Parliament by General Secretary of Parliament Dhammika Dasanayake. Thereafter, a debate was held on the Mithramulla tragedy.
Innocent people have been victims of this callous inaction on the part of authorities. This danger had prevailed for a considerable period of time, of which the authorities were aware. However, no action was taken. It would be relevant to ask why. Why no action was taken? Mithramulla is just the tip of the iceberg. Our country could face many more, even greater disasters in several spheres unless there is a radical change in its political culture. Claims of alleged patriotism can never be a substitute for action that demonstrates a genuine commitment to honestly serve the best interests of the country and its people.
We should not play a blame game. We know from the time this incident occurred, politicians from various parties try to exploit this situation and try to make the Mithramulla tragedy their political stage. So one should refrain from making use of such a tragedy for their political benefit, because Colombo Municipal Council and the Western Provincial Council has to take responsibility to a great extent with regard to the tragedy. I summoned the Colombo Municipal Council not twice, thrice. You know that the Colombo Municipal Council has outsourced the collection of garbage to 2 companies. I asked the Commissioner why he outsourced it for a period of 4 years. He had no answer. I will, with the help of the Cabinet and all quarters, will take steps to see that this agreement is amended or send these 2 institutions away, because collection of garbage is also equally is part of the problem. And whoever is responsible for the Mithramulla incident, including criminal liability, should be dealt with. That's why His Excellency the President has appointed retired Court of Appeal Judge Justice Chandranayaka Nanakara to go into this.
The country needs a powerful central authority with regard to waste management. Else, when we try to obtain permission for such activities, clashes between Pradeshya Sabhas, provincial councils, state institutions and ministries could hinder these activities. A large garbage dump was created in Blue Mandal because of campaigns which said that they don't need garbage from Colombo. Even afterwards, there were plenty of attempts to create a scientifically sound garbage dump site. We tried to create sites in Manamulla Panadura, in Mahara and in Kaduwela. However, all these efforts were thwarted due to protests. Now we have launched a fresh attempt. We call on everyone not to oppose these efforts. One of the sites that were in our sights for a long time was the excavation site in Aruakkaru Puttalam, which was used to extract raw materials for cement. However, the Wildlife Department informed us in January 2016 that this area is part of the buffer zone of the Vilpattu Reserve, so they cannot allow the dumping of garbage. Due to environmental reasons, we lost the location. However, we have selected an alternative location and we are conducting an environmental assessment as well as an engineering assessment. If it is successful, we can begin work in the next 2 months.
I
must say this. There was a tussle between the Mayor of Colombo and the Minister of Mega Police for the garbage in Method Mulla. Why did this issue arise? Provincial councils cannot handle these matters. This should be considered as a national issue. Therefore, there should be national laws. This is the only way to resolve this. They berate Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mahinda Rajapaksa. It was our government that built all the houses that are now being given away.
The parliamentarian said that there was a tussle between the Mayor of Colombo and the Mega Police Minister. There was no such tussle because our ministry does not have any purview over garbage. He also said that houses built during Mahinda Rajapaksa's time are being given away. These houses were not built with a sustainable plan. The Urban Development Authority had to face a major issue because of this. We are now turning this project into a sustainable one and aiming to build 20,000 homes under the first project. During Mahinda and Gotabaya Rajapaksa's time, only 158 houses were distributed.
This is not a natural disaster like a flood, nor was it caused by accident like Salava. This was clearly caused due to a delay in decision making and in fighting. We warned that such a tragedy would occur. On the 20th of July last year, I wrote a letter to the Urban Commissioner calling him to divert the garbage to a different location because the recycling plant was being delayed and because there could be a collapse during the rainy season. Copies of this letter were sent to the President, Prime Minister and the Minister of Mega Police. On the 2nd of August, I wrote another letter stating that there was a risk of a collapse. I once again informed the Urban Commissioner in this regard, and he issued instructions to the Kolannawa Pradesh Sabha not to dump garbage here. This was on the 17th of January. They continued to do this, disregarding these instructions. When we got the police to intervene and stop this, the Secretary to the Kolannawa Pradesh Sabha writes a letter stating that the coordinating committee has no right to stop this and that this order can only be issued by the Chief Minister. I am tabling all these letters. We once again got the Urban Commissioner to write a 2-page letter issuing instructions not to dump garbage here. This was issued to the Kolannawa Pradesh Sabha. Later, during a meeting held in Parliament under the auspices of the President, a decision was made to dump garbage at a different location. My hands are clean. No one can call me a drug peddler, a thug, a racketeer or a man who deals with kickbacks. However, one particular media institution has levelled racist allegations against me. I express my protest in this regard and need to say I will rise from these ashes.
Views also expressed on the extraordinary Gazette notification presented by President and the powers of the local government bodies.
Declaration is to see that the collection of garbage is declared an essential service and that if anybody interferes with that service would be dealt in terms of the law. And the reason that was brought about, Honorable Dinesh Gunawardene, you may know that certain politicians tried to go to those areas and stop the garbage from being dumped on the basis that they want to build up their political stature. Definitely, somebody is responsible for the loss of lives. It's not an accident. So now we are looking at I'm starting a landfill within 40 days in Mutturajavela. I will take all precaution to say that it is environmentally friendly. We are trying to start compost plants in 9 provinces to deal with 450 metric tons. So we are working to solve the garbage issue.
Just a clarification from the Honourable Minister, where he said that he has a certain mandate over local bodies. Yes. Now this is an issue that we are debating all the time. Under the 13th Amendment, the provincial councils have powers over the local bodies.
You were in charge of this ministry before?
Now the problem is the line ministry is trying to meddle with the local bodies, had to be through the chief ministers only. These issues had to be clearly outlined. You should not... No, this
I think 2 eminent lawyers are debating on the legal battle.
Honorable Rauf Hakim is trying to play regional politics in the East. Honorable Rauf Hakim has a problem.
No.
Listen.
That's a very pertinent question.
He's one politician without doing any work for the masses, try to criticize others and try to get votes. Right? I'm very clear about that. While saying so, I respect the 13th Amendment. As a line minister, I am responsible for every cent paid, given to all funds given to local bodies and to the provincial council. I am responsible to Parliament. In carrying out my functions to Parliament, I see that they used money for the best of the people. I have never interfered. My cabinet colleague and Honorable Rauf Hakim has a problem. His party is diminishing. So he tries to use at least Parliament to create a momentum for himself.
And moving on to some news from courts this evening. Now, the Casbah Magistrates Court issued an order today suspending the Colombo Municipal Council from dumping garbage at the Karudiana garbage dump. Our correspondent stated that the area residents of Karudiana engaged in silent protest with placards. The court had issued an order granting permission to the CMC to dump garbage in the Karudiana area until the 28th of this month. The order was issued by Magistrate of Casbah and Additional District Judge Gihan Ranawaka. Facts were produced in court regarding the 7 people who were arrested during a protest against the CMC dumping garbage in the area. The Piliyandala police presenting facts stated that they possess video footage of the people who behaved in an unruly manner on the day of the protest. The Magistrate of Casbah ordered that an investigative report to be presented on the 19th of May.
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Harsha De Silva, convened a media briefing and expressed views regarding the GSP Plus tax concession.
We have to join with the world if we are to develop the country. This is something we know. We cannot anticipate development without exports. Many people said we will not receive the GSP Plus tax concession. Some said they have laid out conditions. GSP Plus is granted for good governance, democracy and to strengthen those countries. It is recommended by the EU Commission. When that happens, it needs to go to the EU Parliament. The Parliament holds a vote. That needs to be won. Then it's taken up in the Ministers' Council of the EU. When they approve it, we will receive the GSP Plus. We will not receive it tomorrow. I hope that by the 15th of next month we will complete all the challenges that we have to face. We will only receive the GSP for a short period of time, for about 3 or 4 years. We must make this the foundation to secure a free trade agreement with the European Union.
The 40th annual convention of the Capital Maharaja Organization is currently underway at Stein Studios in Ratmalana. The chief guest of the event was Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa. Among other notable guests who attended this year's annual convention were the diplomats, executives of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, the Mahasangha, experts from various fields and politicians.
One of the main foundations for the success of the Maharaja Organization is the fact that as an organization it has recognized the social responsibilities that is bestowed upon them. It is a classic example of capitalism with a human face being operational. The various corporate sector social responsibility programs initiated and implemented by the Capital Maharaja Group has ensured a voice for the voiceless. It is a unique and exemplary program that has to be emulated by all corporate sector entities in our country.
The highlight of the event was the selection of the Executive of the Year, where 5 executives of the Capital Maharaja Organization were nominated for the coveted award. The nominees this year were Shiran Manakul Surya, Dr. Kirthivan Kotian, F.M. Muzammil, Ramsi Kazim and Yasrat Kamal Siri. It was Newsfirst very own Director General Manager Yasrat Kamal Siri who bagged the coveted Executive of the Year award for 2016-2017.
The winner of the Executive of the Year award is Yasrat Kamal Siri.
ආයතනයට මම පැමිණලා වසර
It has been 20 years since I came to this company. There have been many professional accomplishments that I have achieved during my time, but this is my greatest accomplishment. Over the past year, there was a team who toiled with me in the hot sun, in the rain, in the most rural areas of our country in order to provide relief to the innocent people of this country. I dedicate this award to the Newsfirst team who carried out this enormous task and to my colleagues in Braybrook Street who are even at this moment preparing the news.
Newsfirst සමාජිකින්ටත් මේ සම්මානය උපහාරයක්ම වේවා.
Dr. W.A. Vijayawardena, the former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, was critical on debt management at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Newsfirst Zulfikar Farzan reports.
Dr. W.A. Vijayawardena was questioned on the calculations that he made to ascertain the long-term loss to the government due to the impugned bond auction. The witness was asked whether he misled the first corp appointed to probe the matter. He responded that his calculations are correct. In relation to the intraday liquidity facility, the witness said that the ILF is to be used to facilitate a payment process and not for investment purposes. Attorney at Law Chanaka De Silva presented several documents before the witness. The counsel said, as of now, there are 60 treasury bonds in issue, adding that the total bond outstanding was 4,055 billion rupees. Presenting another document, the attorney said that the value of the bonds that will mature in 2019 was just over 400 billion rupees. In his statement, Dr. W.A. Vijayawardena said Sri Lanka is in a debt crisis due to the lack of debt management. He went on to say that debt had been borrowed without proper planning of repaying the borrowed debt. From the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, I'm Zulfikar Farzan for News First.
When a child starts learning, help him to enhance his opportunity for continuous learning. New Enfagrow A+, an improved formula with essential nutrients. Enfagrow A+, the foundation for non-stop learning.
Welcome back. You're tuned on to Primetime News. We're still following on to some local stories this evening. Now, the students of the Management Faculty of the Southeastern University left the university premises today.
Newsfirst reported the incidents that transpired when a group of students of the Southeastern University prepared to hold a demonstration opposite the university on the 26th of this month. The demonstration had been organized against the suspension of 20 students and citing several other reasons. Even though the tent and the banners that were erected at the location were taken down by university officials and security personnel, the demonstration continued as planned. The students of the Faculty of Management refrained from attending classes yesterday since solutions were not provided to the problems that they raised. The university management had suspended 11 more students and they left the premises today, stating that they would not return until they are provided with solutions to their problems.
අපි අද තීරණය කරා අග්නි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ මාසික සංගමයේ විදියට මේ විදියට මේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය හැරගොසින් අපේ ප්‍රශ්නවලට පිළිතුරු ලැබුණ දවසක ආයේ මේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට පැමිණේ.
Newsfirst contacted the Vice-Chancellor of the Southeastern University, Professor M.M.M. Najim, in this regard. The Vice-Chancellor said that the academic activities of the Southeastern University were carried out as normal today.
State Minister Lakshmana Vijayawardena reacted to the media release issued by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa criticizing the appointment of new electoral organisers for the SLFP.
A media release has been issued criticizing decisions that have been made. I don't need to remind you how the former leaders took such decisions. Mangala Samaravira campaigned to ensure Mahinda's victory and he lost his cabinet post overnight. The same fate befell Sripati Suryarachi. Party leaders take decisions according to situations. Decisions cannot only be right when you take them and wrong when someone else does. If I am an organizer and I attend meetings of other parties and proceed to criticize the party leadership, then what else should the leadership do? A decision needs to be taken. These criticisms are being levelled for political mileage.
Parliamentarian Vijayapala Hettiarachchi, speaking at the UMP headquarters, Sirikotha, commented on labour reforms.
Mahinda Rajapaksa says he will flood people in hundreds of thousands to Golf Face Green. Yet, does he have a right to celebrate Workers' Day? When he was the Minister of Labour, he introduced something called the Labour Charter, but he failed to get it ratified. He said that he did not have the power to push it further, as then President Chandrika did not allow for it. He served as president twice. What happened to that charter? He should have reintroduced it. He used his unlimited powers to bring in various things, but he did not do that to the charter. After he was discharged of his powers, he is saying that he will bring people to Goldface Green. He is continuing to oppress the innocent people of this country.
State Minister of International Trade Sujiv Senasinghe, addressing an event in Kandy, expressed his views on the GSP+.
Obtaining GSP Plus is a victory. If you take a look at the past 2 decades, this will be the greatest victory for the country, second only to the war victory. Through this, we received the opportunity to export over 7,000 items apart from apparels to the European Union. It could be the 15th or the 16th of May. The whole country should celebrate with milk rice and firecrackers. As front-runners of taking this country to a new direction, all of us should rejoice on the day we receive GSP.
The minister was addressing a meeting at the auditorium of the Pallekele Provincial Council to educate entrepreneurs in the central province.
The project to repaint the Mihintale Chaitya commenced this morning.
The task commenced following religious observances. The event was presided over by Ministers Sagal Ratnayaka and Ruwan Wijewardena.
I tell this to the 2 ministers present here. This holy ground must be preserved. The grounds have lost its beauty because of the polythene being disposed. There are unauthorized traders here as well. The fauna and flora in the area is destroyed. Please draw your attention towards this. This is not a personal need, but these acts will be for the nation. We are committed to protect historical temples, Buddhism and the Sasana as public representatives. I believe that we can intervene in resolving the issues in the temple. Come Poson Full Moon Poya, there will be much more that needs to be done. That period draws large crowds to this place. We must brace ourselves for their arrival and ensure their security.
1,300 Sri Lankan expatriates who are living in overseas received dual citizenship today. The Minister of Internal Affairs S.B. Nawinna distributed certificates to dual citizenship. This is the 15th group to receive dual citizenship status. 25,000 Sri Lankans living abroad have received the dual citizenship status in the past year.
When you look at the living in the country, this is a lucky country to live in. There is no need for you to leave the country. You can be an engineer or a businessman. We invite all of you to come back to the country. You may not have been able to secure your wealth in the country. You have the opportunities to do so now.
The Centre for Indo-Lanka Initiatives of the Pathfinder Foundation, Kanage, India, together with Vivekananda International Foundation in India, held a conference in Colombo today. The conference focused on 3 broad themes: past connectivity and the sources of decay, identifying the current possibilities and assessing the enduring obstacles, and exploring ways to overcome them. The participation of leading academics, professionals, subject matter experts and scholars from both the countries seeking to discuss major areas of the concept of connectivity was seen at the conference.
The idea is to identify what are the areas that both the countries need to focus on developing connectivity between the 2 countries, and then of course we can make these proposals available to the governments or to the private sector who are interested in improving tourism, improving pilgrimage between the 2 countries. And a very special area that we are focusing is religious tourism through the Murugan Trail, Ramayana Trail and the Buddhist Trail, because both our countries have a very rich heritage on the religious connection, so we would like to promote this as a major tourist venture.
The challenge is how do India and Sri Lanka take advantage of their proximity how do they privilege their proximity for mutual benefit? And I think this is becoming an urgent imperative because backlash against globalization within the developed countries, the pressure on the regional organizations means that countries like India and Sri Lanka have to do more with each other and in their own neighborhood. Now we are looking at it more closely in terms of a bilateral cooperation. So I see that this is the beginning of a work which has a huge potential for India and Sri Lanka to restore their historic connectivities, to rebuild on their shared geography, and to leverage their shared culture and history.
4 people, including 3 Indian nationals, were injured when a van met with an accident in Tantirimale, Anuradhapura.
The group met with the accident en route to Madhu on a pilgrimage from Vattala. The injured were rushed to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. According to police, 15 persons were travelling in the van at the time of the accident. Police adds that the accident was the result of the driver losing control of the vehicle.
And on to news overseas this evening, US President Donald Trump says a major conflict with North Korea is possible in the standoff over its nuclear and missile programs, but he would prefer a diplomatic outcome to the dispute.
Trump also said that it had been very hard for Kim Jong-un to take over North Korea at such a young age. The UN Security Council is meeting to discuss North Korea this Friday. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has said China has told the US that it will impose sanctions on North Korea if it conducts further nuclear tests. He lavished praise on Chinese President Xi Jinping for Chinese assistance in trying to rein in Pyongyang. The two leaders met in Florida earlier this month.
In sports news, Isipatana College and Wesley College recorded victories today during the second leg in the inter-school rugby tournament.
Isipatana College locked horns with Zaira College Colombo 10 at Havelock's grounds. The lads in green led the first half 26-5 and went on to win the game 48-10. Wesley College locked horns with St. Joseph's College Maradona at the CRN-FC grounds in Colombo. Wesley College dominated the game to lead the first half 9-0 and went on to win 23-14.
Well, on that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outschool.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Take care and good night.
Good night.